So, episode 2 of the DBS Superleggera. In the description below, there's a link to the first episode where I mixed it up with another Aston Martin Virage that we were doing at the same time, which gave a brief explanation as to the sound editing that we've done, the integration that we've done, and the speaker locations and stuff like that. But in a nutshell, the brief for this was to be completely discreet. We don't want to see anything, we only want to hear it, even down to DRC control. The DRC is in there, but it's under one of the seats. It needs to be completely out of the way. So if sub bass needs to be controlled, he'll have to dial that in, put it back. But they're the lengths that you have to go to keep things completely discreet. Every speaker has been changed. The amplifier has been removed. This was a base spec car, so it was the Aston Martin sort of 9-channel system. We've used an integration module that removes the amplifier. Most plugs into the integration module and out it goes to our DSP. And they're in the same location in the back of the car. Then our loom feeds over the top and into the boot, into the amp rack. I think the only thing I didn't show you in the previous video was the amp rack fitted, because it was just on the side getting wired up. So we're going to run around the finished car now. I might play a sound clip and wrap this one up because it's time for it to go home. As per the standard sort of spec, when you do something that has to be completely discreet, there isn't much to see inside the car other than the car's OEM interior. But I'll point out a couple of things. Tweeter locations on the dash top, just there. Mid-range in the door, in its own enclosure. It's about 4 litres, maybe slightly less. Mid-bass are in the footwells, in their own enclosure. They're damped, and that's where the OEM mid-bass was. We've replaced that with a Focal Utopia. So we've got the Utopia WM6 there, the Utopia tweeter up top, and the Utopia mid-range in the door. In the centre, in the OEM location, just where you can see that silver grille, we have the JL W38. The car has a retrofit CarPlay. It works, you know, but what we've done is we've installed an Audison Beacon, so a Bluetooth streamer. With the right piece of kit, you can get a really nice stream to that. What it also does, because this car is integrated digitally, it uses fibre optic. The Beacon has a fibre optic pass-through, which means it can auto change the source. So if we just start streaming to the Beacon, it will just start streaming to the system. Then when we turn it off, the OEM system comes back on, and it gives you that seamless transition between the two sources. What it does mean is, with the Beacon unit, we're only listening to our system. We're not listening to anything to do with the car. Aston Martin stuff's quite heavily leaned on, so a lot of JLR stuff, things like that, it's really heavily leaned on. So no matter what you do, there's always that sort of original sonic characteristic to it. In some places you can't get rid of absolutely all of it, you know. So we fit a secondary input which is quite linear. Although this is Bluetooth, it streams really well. All right, gives you more than enough in this car. So a lot of the times we'll fit a high-res DAC, but you do have to switch between them sources, and it can get a little bit clunky at times. So anyway, let's take a look at the boot. So you can probably see that rear wall section there, the little leather lip at the bottom. Now that is our sort of premium black carpet on there. It looks really sort of OEM. We've got a light pointing directly at it at the moment, but if I just turn that off for a second, you'll see when that isn't on, it blends nicely into the car. Nothing's disturbed in here, so full load capability still. You can still use the light up the top there. And if you want to, you can pop this cover off and that reveals your amplifiers. So we've got an LC1.800 on bass, which is, as you see, in that centre console inside the car in the rear seats, and a 6.1200 run in the three-way. Originally we spec'd this with a 4.800 because we were going to do a two-way front end. When we realised we could use a three-way, we went for the 6.1200 to give us active control of each speaker with the DSP, which is an Audison Bit 1 HD. And that just slots back in there, and away we go. But that's only really, you know, if you want to see things. I doubt that'll ever really come off. Of course, with the OEM integration, you get full control, so volume and everything from the steering wheel. Everything works how it would do from the original, you know, from the original system. And of course, in here, mid-bass down behind the pedals, same mid-range and tweeter up top. Yeah, and nothing's changed. You wouldn't know other than listening to the car. There's absolutely nothing that's different about the inside of the car. Controls exactly the same, the looks and visuals exactly the same, just a really superior sound. So yeah, anyway, that's been the DBS Superleggera. Difficult cars to work on, tricky to integrate, you know, costs slightly higher than your sort of standard car. You need a couple of days to get it fully apart, you know. It's in that sort of Ferrari, Lamborghini territory of removing things and putting things back in, you know. So yeah, if you've got an Aston Martin and you don't like the system, if you do, I want to have a word with yourself, because I've never heard a good one. But if you don't like the system, give us a shout, you know. And we've you know, we've done quite a few of them, so we know how they work and we know how to integrate them in the most part. You can't do all of them the way that we've done this one, but each one of them we do have a plan for. So yeah, give us a shout. Likes and subscribes, everything like that, all the usual stuff that helps the channel grow. I'm Carl, this is Studio Incar. This is an Aston Martin DBS Superleggera on its way home. Take it easy.